It's been a busy week for former Notre Dame football coach Lou Holtz. He was recently diagnosed with COVID-19. He's still dealing with some lingering effects. And just yesterday, President Trump awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest honor for an American civilian. During his long, historic career, Holtz coached at several colleges, including the University of Notre Dame, where he won a national championship in 1988. He was an analyst for ESPN, been inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. But his legacy is not without controversy. He's made statements in recent years saying NFL players who kneel during the national anthem were hurting the game. Holtz has also dipped into politics. As an avid supporter of President Trump, he gave a virtual speech during the Republican National Convention where he called Joe Biden a Catholic in name only. I talked with Holtz earlier today about the fallout from that speech, his 3 rules in life, and also what this latest honor means to him. Coach, it's great to talk with you. First of all, congratulations on the Medal of Freedom. What an honor. Tell me what was going through your mind when the president was putting it around your neck.
Well, I was very humbled and flattered. What through my mind is there are a lot of people more deserving of this award than me, but nobody would be more appreciative of it than me. And it's the highest honor you could possibly receive. I never anticipated in my lifetime that I would receive it. But the award does not define who Lou Holtz is. I'm looking at my family, I'm looking at my friends, and I think that's who defines. And I'm just sorry that my wife could not be with us in person, but she was certainly there in spirit, because when I look at the wonderful family we've had, she died 5 months ago after 59 years of marriage. So it was I was very honored and pleased to receive it from President Trump, an individual that I think has done a tremendous job as president of this country. And you just say, well, now my life has to continue to move on.
Well, you made headlines recently. You mentioned the president. You gave a speech during the Republican National Convention, and you called Joe Biden a Catholic in name only. And Notre Dame did distance itself from you on that. The president said, in this fractious time, let us remember that our highest calling is to love.
I could not evaluate what's in Joe Biden's heart. I'm sure he's a wonderful man. But I do know the Catholic faith. I was raised a Catholic my entire life. I was taught by the Sisters of Notre Dame. And what I've been taught all along, that life is precious, that you cannot take a baby and destroy it at 9 months. And that's something that I believe. And if he believes differently, that's up to him. I cannot validate what his thoughts are, but I know what my thoughts are, and I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to be quieted because people say, well, that's not the popular thing to do. I don't condemn him as a person, and I wrote him a letter of apology about trying to evaluate his overall life, but I will not condone abortion, particularly in the 9th month or any time.
You wrote Joe Biden a letter after that?
Yes.
What did you tell him?
I don't think that's important. If you want to know, you ask Joe Biden.
You're all about giving back, Coach. I know you've done a lot of work for charitable organizations, and that goes to one of your life rules, which is add value to people's lives.
Well, I just not a very complicated individual. I was in the lower third of high school class, but I tried to simplify life. I tried to say what is really important. And when I look at it and evaluate it, life comes down to making choices. Whatever happens during your life are because of the choices you make. Number one, you do the very best you can at all times, not because somebody's looking. Number two, you do what's right. You know what's right, wrong. I think it's wrong to steal or lie, etc. And then you try to show people you care. And those 3 rules will always enable you to make good choices. And I promise you, in 45 years, I've never needed a 4th rule. And those 3 rules have never led me astray in my personal life or in my professional life.
It's one of the words at the base of the statue in your honor at Notre Dame. In fact, there are 3 words: trust, love, commitment.
You must share the same core values. And our core values with our team was we're going to trust one another, we're going to be totally committed to excellence, and we're going to genuinely care about each other. And if we do that, those are our core values. That's why the players put them there. And you know what? They've never failed us.
You use those same rules in recruiting and in everyday life.
If you or your entire audience will do me a favor, I want you to take somebody you admire and respect. I want you to take somebody you got a serious problem with. Could be anybody in this world. Put the 3 questions on them. Can I trust them? Are they committed? Do they care? I promise you, The person you admire and respect, you just said yes to all three questions. I equally promise you, the person you got a problem with, you pinpointed the problem. And you can't trust them, they aren't committed, or they don't care. With young people today, I would not lower the standard. I'd be a better coach today than I've ever been before. But what we have to remember about young people is they don't know necessarily how to handle disappointment. And one thing about life is you're going to get knocked down. You're going to be up one day, you're down on the ground the next. That's part of life. It's getting up. And those are things that you learn when you're younger.
That's our time, Coach. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
He has a lot of words of wisdom as he talks. He's a popular commencement speaker as well, and that's one of his other things he said was that if you don't show up, would anyone miss you? That's something to consider about your presence wherever you are. Sort of a be where you are when you're there kind of thing. One of several rules and ideals that he likes to stick to in his life.
Joe, you mentioned at the very beginning that he had COVID. Did he talk at all about that, how he's doing, how it's impacted he and his family?
He's not doing well. I mean, he's struggled with it. He's made that clear. He said he's having trouble with his feet. And I know we've heard that as a side effect for some of the people who have COVID, but he said the rest of him was doing better. It's been a couple of weeks or more now since he's had it, but he's still definitely suffering from lingering effects of the virus for sure. He also made it clear that he said, don't complain. He said, no one wants to hear it. And then he said, at the same time, have fun. Be around people who are fun, because that's what happens. It's what we've learned with Albert and Rob. You know, when you're fun, people want to be around you.
You left me out.
You too, Mark. We all know you're fun. I thought you were with me.
It's all right. I'm not known to be that fun. That was good stuff, Joe. Thank you very much.